Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. Welcome to JAHAN-E, our special episode on Aspirations 2020. Today we have with us a great personality, a renowned educator, author of 6 books, Time Investment Strategist, and TEDx speaker, a person who has a vision, a person who has a mission, a person who is dedicated towards the youth and new generation to give them the life skills to make them successful in their future. Let's welcome Brigadier Sushil Bhasin ji to the show. Welcome,
Thank
sir.
you.
Thank you very much for being with us.
Thank you. No, it's my pleasure. I'm very happy to be here with you.
Sir, your journey from armed forces to the chairman of Army Public Schools and then to be a leader coach, or I must say that you organizes many camp for the school principals and leaders. So this journey seems to be very fascinating. Will you please elaborate a little bit more on this?
Yeah. And before I do that, I want to thank you and I want to tell you that you are doing a great service to humanity in JAHAN-E. And I'm very fascinated with the type of work you are doing. And congratulations, your contribution to the educational industry or the society at large is commendable.
Thank you
So
very much.
okay, so when it comes to my journey, yes, I was absolutely an uneducated guy. I went to NDA with just a 10th class pass, and I didn't even have any qualification, so as to say. And when I did my staff college and we were given a MSc degree, that was probably the first educational degree I got. And it was given to me by Field Marshal Manekshaw. And I remember he saying this to an audience of about 350 officers. And he said, congratulations, because I know that most of you today would equal or surpass your wife's degree. Because till then, almost all of us used to be underqualified. Our wives are always more educated. So I had nothing to do with education. I was absolutely in the logistics part of the army. And therefore, my entry into the education world also happened when in 2002, I was asked to be the chairman of the army school in Bareilly. Now, Army Public School in Bareilly at that point of time with 2000 children was facing a lot of problem. And the moment I came, I was told by my boss, he said, I know you'll do your professional job very well, but I have got this additional responsibility for you. And that is a challenge. And I want you to take up this challenge. And I said, sir, everyone has been telling me, but tell me what's wrong with the school and why do I need to do all that? And why is it so? So he said the problem is that in the last 2 years, we've had 5 principals come and go. Nobody's stuck here for more than a month or two. And therefore, there is no direction. There is an old head clerk who runs the school primarily. And we really need something to be done because all officers' children are finding their ways to other schools because the school is not performing. And I get lots and lots of complaints from parents, particularly when the children are in board classes because results that they can get. So my car to come back home and just about 10 minutes drive from my office. The thought that came to my mind at that time was that I've got 2 children. My daughter was just stepping into, or she had stepped into college. My son was going to be taking admission in class 12 in the same school. And I said, if I'm so concerned about my 2 children's career, so would the 2000 children's parents also be concerned. And how can I ever neglect that part and not take care of the 2000 children's career? And I took that as my ownership, as my responsibility. because I've had a habit in life. Either I don't accept a responsibility or I accept it 100%. There is nothing half-hearted. So I would rather say that I'm sorry, I can't take on, but there was no reason for me to tell my boss that I can't take on this assignment. So I took that very seriously. And in 6 months' time, really speaking, the school turned around. I'm very happy to say in 6 months' time, uh, there was so much of appreciation. A lot of parents used to ring me and ring up my boss and say that the school is doing very well. The children were extremely happy with me. The parents were very happy with me, but the teachers were certainly not happy with me because I had started getting strict and I was making them work and they were not used to it. And therefore, all those teachers who were absolutely unhappy with me are today my best friends because they realized and they came back to me later and said, Sir, after you left, we got to know what you did for us. And the greatest tribute I can say, Dr. Halima, I got was when 10 years later, 10 years later, there were at least 5 chairmen who would have come and gone. The school made a Facebook page and they said this Facebook page is dedicated to Brigadier Bhasin who changed our school. So that means even, when you go into hierarchy,
Mhm.
5 chairmen before have, that I'm in that category and they didn't remember any other chairman, but they remembered me. So I certainly got into that mode that this is my forte. And then there is a story which it has been at many places. It is there in my book called Design Your Life. And I hear said, why was this book written? So it was the 800 children. I said, takes 800 children. It was 800 children who signed a scroll, a thank you note on a scroll. And that is what the head girl presented to me at an event, which changed my life. I came back from there. I was sitting in the car. I had a conversation with God. I said, God, you've given me everything that I wanted. But today, I think I need to give it back. And I decided to leave the army and do something for children. So, leaving behind a wonderful, promising career where I had some good promotions to look forward to, I decided to leave the army, come and start my own little educational camp where we did outbound training and experiential learning, trying to get children uh, into skill development uh, and in a very fun and playing method. So I used to always say that the sky, the mountains, or we had hills rather, and the lake. I said the outdoors are a tool for my learning, and that is what worked very well. And I'm very happy that I did that.
Thank you very much. Your journey is so inspiring for all of us, and especially the signature campaign of 800 children when they have said you goodbye and they have given as a token of their appreciation and love. That really matters a lot. Now, coming to Brigadier Sir, 2020 is considered as to be not very welcoming. So, how was 2020 for you as educator or as time investment strategist?
Dr. Halima, I'll tell you that on the 22nd of March, and in India, uh, 20, 22nd March was the day of Janta curfew, right? So the lockdown hadn't started. We did get a hint from the Prime Minister that something like this may happen, but the lockdown was announced 3 days later. 22nd March, I did my first webinar and I talked about the irony on that day. And the same afternoon, I was invited by a Facebook group of people called Teachers Pay Teachers. And there I was addressing about 40, 50 teachers. And I was addressing their questions that what will we do when things are going online right now? Because things had started going online, schools were already closed. So it was a very, very early stages. People had too much of uncertainty. They didn't know what was happening. And I told these teachers on that day that you have no option but to go online. And I said, do online classes, but okay, that we learn. But sir, what about our children who will not have gadgets? They will not have phones. There will be so many challenges. I said, you are thinking of the challenges, but tell me, do all your children or their parents have phones? I said the first thing is get in touch with your children right now. And even if you do 5 children a day and you have 30 children in the class, take 6, 7 days, but say that you're talking to your children and asking them how is life for them, at least giving them some type of a moral courage, give them some moral support. Are you doing that? They said no. Then I told them, forget about everything, but everyone is on WhatsApp today. And you can really run your WhatsApp classes, and they got fascinated. They said, how do you do that? I said, there's something called a WhatsApp in our. And you can really come out with questions and answers on WhatsApp. Create a group of your class. Parents can help the children. And you can really, at least rather than doing zero, it won't be 100% effective. You may not be able to take all your classes, but at least keep the children engaged so that they don't disconnect with what's happening. So, Halima, that was the beginning, and I know the challenges have been great. This must be at least today the 10th or 12th educational interview or webinar I'm doing. I have been a chief guest for a school in Kuwait, uh, and I was a chief guest at their investiture ceremony 4 years back. And this time they invited me, and I had very good interaction with children. I've been a judge on two debates of school debates in this very year. I've also been on a Podar school, very interesting leadership online than offline. I've done more of my own courses. I've started a course called Train the Online Trainer. I've started a course called Time Creators Code. And there I get individual people who come and they get a free master class. They learn the basics, but if they want advanced, then I do advanced course, which is on slight payment. And I've been able to bring a very good fraternity, and you are part of one of them, so you know how TTOT is running as a 80 people strong community. And that has been, probably in the offline world, such things were not happening. I have crossed 160 webinars in the lockdown itself. And I have been busier. I've done more productive work. I've reached out to more people. And even something that looked like impossible, that this book of mine, which I wrote, I just told you, Design Your Life. This has been now adopted by Spotify, and I'm doing a podcast on it called Zindagi Unplugged. And I've learned how to do a podcast from home now. So instead of going to the studio and recording, I'm doing it from home. So that I've impacted many more people online. I've been able to impact so many people outside the country. So the COVID opened up your gates to uh, international training opportunities where you don't require a visa, you don't require a passport, you don't require an air ticket. You just sit on a safe, free flight on Zoom and reach anywhere in the world.
That's
So it
so
has been
nice.
very good for me, and I'm very comfortable. I always, every day in the morning in my gratitude prayers, I thank God for this chair because it's such a comfortable chair. I spend more than 16 hours every day on this chair, and I'm so comfortable. So I feel that now why should I get into a cab and take a flight and go and stand for 8 hours and do? I have a knee problem that has been taken care of. My knees are not hurting me anymore. I'm just sitting on this chair and doing all my work, reaching out to people. And I've created an environment where I get the same, almost the same, 80% of the same vibration that I was doing in offline training. So whatever I did in a classroom or in a banquet hall or on a playground, I'm getting about 80% of that vibration by creating this program called High Impact Virtual Engagement. That's not only about one-way communication. So I've been able to reach out to lots of teachers, lots of principals, to tell them how you can make your online classes for children as interesting as possible.
Thank you very much. And it was like really very vibrating when you were speaking to me. The vibration was coming out, and you were so brilliant. You were looking while narrating your stories, and I am witness to that because I have attended one of your program, and it was really fantastic. We never realized that how 5 to 6 hours we spent, and it was like we were always fresh in that. But Brigadier, you just tell me one thing, that for making the best use of the time during COVID-19 and making the best use of the digital platform, the person has to have the caliber like you. But we know that there are people they don't have such caliber. So what is your advice for them for 2021? How they have to welcome this coming year, and how they should be ready to welcome with enthusiasm and zeal. And whatever had happened in 2020, they should forget, and at least they should have some hopes and aspirations for 2021.
Yeah. So I always say that God has blessed us with the vision. God has blessed the human beings with a very nice gift, and that is choices. That we have the capability of making our choices. And I always emphasize that when you are driving your life's car, look at the windscreen and look at the area ahead, and don't drive your car from the rear view mirror. You don't have to worry about what happened in the past. I always say that rest of my life is going to be the best of my life. Look ahead. Okay.
Wonderful.
So now when I look at that, I say 2020 for everyone has been a very challenging year. And it has been a year of changes. It has been a year of change management and adaptability. Now, those who could adapt did very well. Those who could not adapt struggled. By now, I think people should have understood that there is no option but to be adaptive to the changes that are happening. Now, couple of things are for sure, very, very clear now. Number one, digital is going to stay. The world, even after COVID, is not going to become a physical world ever. It'll never be the same like it was in February 2020. It'll never be like that now. Why? Because it has opened the gates. It has opened opportunities that people have become online comfortable. See, earlier also Zoom was existing. I have done teachers training 4 years back for a school in Calcutta because I couldn't travel and the school could never afford to my flights. I told the principal, and I was very fond of her because she's a very passionate principal. And I told her, okay, come, you come on Zoom. And she said, what's Zoom? So I explained to her, and then they came on Zoom, and we did a training for them on, virtually. But what was happening was that people were not comfortable. They thought it's not a practical solution. In the last 10 months, every household knows the word Zoom. Everyone has used it for personal things, for celebrations, for birthday parties, for webinars. So Zoom has become a household name. Now, the point is, the world ahead is going to be a hybrid model. It is going to have a digital and a physical. So I call it the digi-fizzy world. It'll be a combination. And in this combination, um, even for future, those who have not been able to adapt to the online culture so far, if they have not been able to understand the power of virtual, they need to do it right now. They shouldn't even waste a single minute and get onto this, because this will pave the path to success in future. Let's not keep waiting for a day when things will become absolutely normal. So that is my point one, that we have to get online. The second is that by now, the challenges that parents had, children have been some way sorted out. Okay, so people do have gadgets, they've been able to manage them, they've been able to manage Wi-Fi connections, and you will have to get to more and more innovative ways of reaching out to children and keeping them engaged. The children, it has taken a toll on children also. Children who love to play around and move around have been stuck to their homes. But by now, I think what my experience says is children were more adaptive than adults were, and they've taken it to they've taken it very well. They quite understand, and I feel that now, while we are getting ready for the schools will open up, the playgrounds will be there, but I'm quite I'm my prediction is that schools may work on like 3 days in school and 3 days at home, and there will be certain things which schools will find it's easier to do online than offline. A school could also think of doing, doubling its capacity by doing 3 days online and 3 days offline. So you could get double the capacity of your school by having two batches running simultaneously. Okay, so these are the type of changes I am predicting. And some of them are being talked about, some of them may be fictitious right now. It's all imagination. But I think all educators should be at this moment open to new ideas, open to changes, and adapt them. You cannot help it. I mean, nobody's at fault that Corona came. But now that it has come, like Gita says, "Jo hai so hai," accept it. There's no way other than acceptance of a situation and then responding to it in the best possible way. Now, as educators, we have a very uh, high responsibility, and that is we are a voice of hope. We are the set of positive people who have to bring in positivity to the environment, to the children, to the parents, to the teachers, and say we are going to make the best of what is happening. And Dr. Halima, I think you will agree, and we have discussed some of these things in other platforms, that online has also opened up more opportunities and more advantages which are not there in offline.
That's
Like
true.
right now, I am talking to you. You are in Delhi. I am in Bombay, and you remember we have done a webinar where you had got me on on a as a guest, where there were about I don't remember the number, but more than 200 teachers from all over the world, particularly
Yes.
the UAE.
Yeah.
Now, imagine that was not easy to be done when we were offline. So it has opened up opportunities. Even in the learning, when we go to breakout rooms and all, there's certain amount of online comfort, the learner's comfort, where people were a little shy in an offline thing. They become, it has given them more privacy. It has given them more uh, concentration. So a lot of things have happened for the good, and let's capitalize on them. Let's look at more positivity. Let's look at how to make the best of it.
Thank you very much. It was lovely talking to you, and you have given us so much insight and predictions about 2021. I hope that everything is going to be well in 2021. I wish you all the best and wish all the viewers all the best and Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
God bless you, sir.
Thank you.